Listen, I've got a video for you guys that I don't know if you realize that I do. This video is going to be about some glass. Can we cut it? Can we break it? Definitely can break it. Stick around. Number 2 for the old stewed. See if we can't cut this one and not break it. I probably just jinxed myself. There's your first piece cut. That's taken about 25 minutes. All rough cut. I'll lay the template back on and lay out a line and grind it to the line. And it's about 2.5, maybe 3 hours of work. Maybe 4. So here's after a few days of work. I didn't show everything, but I just got done sanding this edge. I dry sand them, but this actually fits the car, and I'll show you here in just a second. But this glass is cut and shaped to fit. Now, on this back glass, you can see what I'm talking about, how I have to grind and shape. You can see the gap that we have here. The bed, when we take our templates, the template's made off the bed at the very bottom, and we transfer it to the inside of the glass. And then we cut straight through, and this gives us this. So if the bed is not right, then that transports or transfers to the glass. So what we do is, if you look, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I actually have this glass with rubber blocks to where it'll fit flush to the top of the car, to where this and this are relatively flush. So what we do is we put a piece of little rubber blocks in there to stand it up and hold it up, so that way it doesn't sink when we glue it in. The bottom is done the same way. So then what I do is I go around and I give an equal gap, and you can see my pin line right here. And then I grind it up to that pin line to give us an equal gap. Go ahead and put the front glass in real quick, and I'll show you. If I sound like I'm sick, it's because I am. I've been sick for 2 weeks. It's crud, man. It's crud. But let me put that windshield in and I'll show you. Be right back. Now, I went ahead and put this in. You can see our 1/4-inch blocks. I'll trim them all down and stuff, but they're glued in right now. And I'll actually glue them in with urethane and not with weather stripping adhesive. So this is just for us to get it mocked up. And what I'll do is I'll put tape on here to tell me where I want to put my blocks, because this bed, when people chop these tops and they go for flush fits like this guy does, he added to the bed, which has bent the bed in a lot of spots. So as long as we have an average of 1/4 of an inch all the way around it, I think it's fine, especially when it's flush to the top of the car. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe, yeah, a little bit right there. So when we cut it, listen, guys, I'm just a guy that took a chance on cutting glass one time. There's another group of guys out there that do it a different way than I do. And I am not by any means going to even say that my way is better than anybody else's. I just know that some glass can't be cut. I know that some glass can't be cut. Some glass cuts a lot easier. I cut flat glass by scribe and the traditional way. There's no need for a router and water. That's what I use on curb glass. You know, there's a bunch of other guys out there that can scribe this and break it and not break the glass. That's not me. Every time I've tried to do that, I've wasted a windshield. So this is the way I've done it. I don't know, the last few years, and it's worked for me. So, you know, if you guys want to see more of this, or see how to do this more, or what I use, or where to get some of this stuff, ask me. I mean, I'll let you know. It doesn't bother me none. I just know that it is very, very, very nerve-wracking, and it is very expensive to have done. So think about who's going to do your glass, and do your research before you do your chop top. The chop top's easy. The glass isn't. So yeah, let me get this rear done, and I'll show you the gap on it. It'll be later today because it just takes time. I had one of those water sanding discs, belt sanders, and actually I had two of them. I didn't like them. I just didn't feel comfortable with it. So I hand sand them. Not hand sand them, but I got a high-speed grinder and special diamond sanding discs that we use. So let me get after it, and it'll be later today or maybe even tomorrow morning before I can do another video on this. I'd like to have this car done and ready to go back ASAP. Gentleman's been patient. I've been under the weather, trying to get Grover done. It just spit a lifter, so it is now heartless. It was supposed to go to the upholstery shop yesterday. Firewall's dirty, but there's the heartbeat. So we're in the middle of putting another motor in this truck and cutting this glass and getting Buster ready. Buster looks like a little fort, but we cut all the suspension out of it, and we'll be doing some updates on that. More shop updates for you guys. So let me cut this glass here and see what happens. Wish me luck. All right, so the back side of this glass is done. Let's show you. So now we've got an even gap all the way across. And that'll all be glued in. Fortunately, that's a lot of glue, but that's what we got to do. There's only so much we can do with the curve of the glass in relation to the body. Now, this guy may end up going back in and building up some of the beds or adding to it right here. That's why he wanted the glass done before the body was done. So that way, obviously, we don't scratch the body. But, I mean, we can do it with if it's painted or not. So, but you can see that the riser blocks are keeping it flush. So, except right there, we'll make changes once all the body work's done, but the majority of it's done. You see there's no riser blocks at the bottom. We'll put spacers in there to keep this up. But mainly, once we put the urethane in, it'll come flush with the bottom here. So that's what you get for cutting glass. And I don't know if you guys learned anything or not, but if it's raised any questions, then feel free to comment or send me a message. Thank you.